Alright, everybody. Welcome to episode 280 of Psykos, Platters. I think we'll go off and call this one Last and First. This will be the last video that I will be doing for 2019. It is New Year's Eve, almost 9:30 p.m. Okay, so guess what, guys? This will be a historic moment. It is not powered by coffee. Not this time. But Crown and Coke. Yes, my favorite. 2019 can go burn in hell. Guys in the VC, I don't know. I pray that you did not have such a shitty year like happened in the world of the mighty Psycho. So if you don't mind, a sip to my late wife Jessica Pease, passed away January 28th. A sip to my father Jerry O'Hearn, who died July 12th. Also, my high school friend Monty McLean, who died a couple days before my dad, unexpectedly. My friend Laura. My friend Bobby, from up in Harvard, Illinois. I knew her for over 20 years. To one of the best pastors that I ever had, Pastor Jim Hill. Both of them in November, by the way. Well, excuse me, no. Bobby was in mid-November. And Pastor Hill was the Saturday before Christmas. And then that's the personal stuff. There's a couple more I know I'm forgetting, and I'm sorry. And as far as for music deaths, there were a lot of music deaths, but the two that are coming to my mind right now: Peter Tork of the Monkees, February. And believe it or not, just December 26th. I know I'm getting this screwed up here. I'm sorry, guys. Not 26th of September or December. Neil Innes from the Bonzo Dog Band, and one of the best damn Beatle tribute bands ever, the Ruddles. All of them. I salute. I love you. I miss you. 2019, though, I will not miss. It is time for 2020 to be a better year for a lot of people. There will be some changes in my life, and maybe my family's life too. We shall see. This wasn't all going to be all melancholy, so just bear with me, VC, okay, please? I love you guys out there. I really, really do. I have had a lot more subscribers, sub to the channel. I try to go off and offer good product. I know all my episodes are not great. Far from it. But they come from in here. All of them have come from in here. I'm hoping to do better in 2020. Hopefully more episodes. I am trying to figure out, there's an excellent podcast that's been around for about 4 years. Nate Goyler of the Vinyl Guide, out of Australia. He was California born and bred, but he is in Australia. And he's got a nice podcast, a vinyl podcast show. If you have not heard of any, he's got almost 200 episodes. He also now is on Patreon, I never can get this right. And he kind of, sort of gave me an idea. Do you think that Psykos Platters should become a podcast? I like being able to do visual stuff, but some things I wouldn't have to be visual. I have been debating about trying to interview people. Oh, one last one, I'm sorry. December 26th, Sleepy LaBeef passed away too. He was a rockabilly pioneer. Died suddenly. Okay, but Doug Fields and I, tried to interview him on and off for the last 2 years to no success, and I was kind of upset about that. I really wanted to pick his brain. He was around since the 50s. He cut 45s, and he toured with Carl Perkins and Johnny Cash, and he knew a lot more musicians. It would have been fun, and it just made me think, there's so many other people out there that just, we need to pick their brains and delve into their hearts about music and music history. Alright, so in the comments, do you think I should do a Psykos Platters podcast? And I'm not going to lie, I don't know how to do podcasts. I'm trying to figure out what would be necessary and what would be needed. This is not something that's going to happen immediately. I'd like to do it by summer. I'd like to start by summer. Who knows? My son Michael went off and gave me a bunch of Christmas gifts. He sent me a bunch of Christmas gifts. I was very grateful. He lives out in North Carolina currently. There's so much, I'm not even going to delve into it. Okay? He knows my love for Peanuts, the cartoon. He got me a Peanuts Monopoly and a Peanuts chess set, which was totally awesome. Because I'm from Chicagoland, Chicago Bears. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Yeah, I know our season sucked. But he got me some Bears stuff, which I was grateful about. And then he got me some wrestling stuff. Now, I don't know if I've brought this up to you before. This is going to be a long-winded episode. I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me. But I love wrestling. I do. I watched wrestling from about maybe the early 80s. Mostly the early 80s through the early 2000s, maybe mid-2000s. And I've met a bunch of wrestlers. And in case you're wondering, because some people have asked me who some of the pictures are behind me, I know I keep moving my positions here. But I've got an autographed, I wish I could have met him, but I didn't, signed Diamond Dallas Page. Yeah, I like DDP and his diamond cutter. This one here is Larry Zbyszko, the living legend. He was nice. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Oh! King Kong Bundy. I saw King Kong Bundy, well, about 15 years before he passed. And then I have other stuff here, like, I know you can't see this very well, but I've got Barry Winham's Hermits signed photo, and then I have a signed photo from Pete Best of the Beatles, too. I also got, on another wall, I have the Barbarian, I have Rikishi, yeah, so he sent me some wrestling stuff, so I thought I'd show you the wrestling stuff. So I haven't read this book in a long time, and it's, of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Stone Cold Truth. So here comes the really bad Stone Cold impression. So listen here, this is the Texas Rattlesnake. Read my book, Stone Cold Truth. If you know what I mean, somebody get me a beer. Vince McMahon, You're a bastard. You know, he always used to... Alright. Yeah, I know. You're like... See? Yeah, he was smiling, but not at what I just did. Stone Cold. Alright. So, this part I was looking forward to. I knew this was coming. My son... Oh yeah, I forgot. He gave me a CD too, a still sealed 20-year-old CD of Michael's Sweet from Stryper, his solo album, Truth. Cannot wait to listen to that. Seriously. But he met a WWF Hall of Famer. He did. See? Bear stuff. So I thought this was awesome. He got it framed for me. And he met him, like I said, back in October, I think it was, late October. Sgt.Slaughter. That's right. Sgt.Slaughter. And it says, at ease, Paul. Sgt.Slaughter, WWE champion. So, I think that's kind of cool, damn it. Because the other thing I remember is that he went up against Hulk Hogan for a title. I think it was one of the WrestleManias when Sgt.Slaughter did that heel turn and he was an Iraqi sympathizer. Remember that? That's okay. I know. And yes, I know. All the shows are scripted. I know that. I've known that probably since the 80s. It's just I like the athleticism and okay, fine. Professional wrestling is soap opera for men. Here, I said it. I said it. Soap opera for men. Although, I don't know, Stone Cold would appreciate that, but needless to say, and I don't mind. It's just, I kind of fell away from wrestling. The last time I went to a wrestling match, it was a WWE wrestling match. I used to go to a lot of indie matches. And I think I'll save that episode, you know, all the stories of the wrestlers I met for a different episode. But the last time I went to a WWE event was in 2005, 2006, somewhere around then. And then I went to a couple indie matches since then and met a few more wrestlers. In January, I am probably going to 1 or 2 independent wrestling matches too. And when I get to that point, maybe we'll talk about that too. So I know I yapped a lot, but let me show you some things here that I picked up in the last month. Yeah, I'll give you the goofy one. I can't remember if I showed you this before, but I only paid 50 cents for this, and I don't know what it is about Great Kin albums. Usually these damn things are like ridiculously high priced, and what I mean by that is I don't think I've come across one normally cheaper than $5, but I've seen them like $5 to $10 a piece, and I'm going, geez, you know, it's Great Kin, but of course this is the one here, you know, and it says here Conspiracy, get it? And of course it's got the song Jeopardy, but every time I think of that, I think of Weird Al's I lost on Jeopardy, baby. You didn't even get the home version. So, front, back. The thing I thought that was kind of half interesting about Greg Kin, in a way, is that I guess he lived in San Jose, California for a long time, for decades. And he had a morning show, I guess, and I know that they tried to syndicate him at night here in Northwest Arkansas, but it didn't work. It really, really didn't work. And I'm like, I like Greg Kin as a musician. I just don't think he's that good as a DJ. I'm like, what the hell? But maybe there's something I'm missing, because he had a morning show for all those years. I don't think he has it anymore. I want to say it was 2014, 2015. I think he didn't get the radio show anymore. But he won awards and stuff. I'm going, I don't get it. Is he doing different stuff in the morning shows than he was in the syndicated? I don't know. But, so, Greg Cannon on that. This one struck me as interesting. I like the Five Americans. This one from 1970. Michael Rabone and the Five Americans, Then and Now, on Abnac. This is the front. This is the back. Pardon for the glare, if there is any. It actually is stamped on here, DJ copies, and it actually is, I'll show you one of them. It's, what the heck, WMSA, yeah, WMSA, and it says DJ not for sale. They are very, very clean, and I cannot wait to listen to this, because of course I like Western Union, and I saw the Light and all the other ones. And then yesterday, I was a little bit bummed yesterday, and so I'm one of these people that will go and I go to certain antique malls and I will dig through the vinyl and buy reasonably priced stuff. This came out to, I think, $5 a piece, roughly. So, so let's see. I like the Guess Who. I do. The thing is after Clap for the Wolfman from Road Food in '74, I don't know a lot about the band. This one here came out late '75. Power in the Music. This is the front. This is the back. Like I said, this is late 1975. I thought this was neat. Die-cut cover. See, because it's got the... it fits in here really nicely. It is on the grayish RCA, tannish RCA label. And I think, if I remember correctly, this might be the last Guess Who album that they did before Burton went solo. The guitar duties on this, Dominic Triano. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I like Dominic's guitar work. Dominic has been around for quite a while before that. When Joe Walsh left the James Gang, and then Tommy Bolin left, or no, wait a minute, yeah, but Joe Walsh recommended Dominic Triano to the James Gang, and so that's where he went on that bit. And then Gary Peterson is really the only original member at this time of the Guess Who. So I still think this is kind of cool that I found this, because I've never seen a copy of this. Yeah, I cannot figure out. Oh, okay, maybe the hit is when the band was singing Shakin' All Over. Sorry for feeling a little bit ignorant on this, but so Guess Who from '75. Then this one, yeah, I kind of kicked myself in the ass a little bit. Okay, I almost had a chance to meet this guy in 1998 or '99. It was within the last year of his life. He came to do an appearance in Chicago, and it was kind of, okay, it was kind of weird because over in the DePaul Center in downtown Chicago, they had a, not necessarily a food court, but downstairs, if you went downstairs, they would do performances and book signings and the like. That's how I sort of met Gladys Knight back then, and I briefly interacted with Chris Rock. But it said Garth Hudson was supposed to be there the day I went. And I'm like, oh, hell, Garth Hudson. And this was free shows, by the way. You could, you know, you could reach the people on the stage. And I'm like, I would love to meet Garth Hudson. I even brought band stuff to try to get signed. Well, Garth Hudson didn't make the trip for some reason. But the band that was on stage was a band called Professor Louie and the Chromatics. I've got a t-shirt and a CD somewhere. I do. And awesome stuff. Seriously. Awesome. Think they're based out of Louisiana, honestly. But I met the band, talked to the band, and they said, well, Rick Danko was supposed to be at the gig instead. And I tried come hell or high water to get out there, and I just wasn't able to. It turned out I knew somebody that did end up going to that gig, and I didn't know they were going to go. And Rick stuck around at the merch, the small table or whatever. He chatted with everybody. Like, he hung around for over an hour and just shot the shit with everybody. So I've got this here. It's Rick Danko, Rob Fraboni. I don't even know much about this album, to tell you the honest truth. It says here, 1973? I don't know if I'm getting this right. Point is, though, the reason why I grabbed this, the musicianship on here is crazy. You've got Ronnie Woods on here. Blondie Chaplin from the Beach Boys is on here. Eric Clapton. Garth Hudson from the band. Doug Sam from Sir Douglas Quintet. Joe Layla, who he worked with Joe Walsh and other people. Robbie Robertson shows up on another track. Trying to see if there's anybody else. Oh, Gary Beckley from America. Richard Manuel from the band is on here too. Yeah. Levon Helm. Nice. See, so it's like almost every member of the band shows up on here at one point or another. And I think that's pretty awesome for that too. And so I'm glad to have this. I cannot wait to listen to this. This is on Arista, by the way. On Arista. And then lastly, I have been getting a better appreciation for this next man. He's no longer with us, of course. He died on Valentine's Day in 1994. And the final CD of recordings got released in the last month of the 1993-94 album he was working on, titled Lost and Found, Mr. Harry Nilsson. Now, I always liked Harry Nilsson's version of Badfingers Without You, okay? I like that one. I like Everybody's Talking. My favorite is probably still Jump Into the Fire. I just love the way that one goes. I like Coconut. Daybreak. I love all that stuff. So, to find this, which is Do It on Monday from 1975, also on a grayish tan RCA. If I remember correctly, let's see. I'm not sure what the single for this was. I want to say Kojak Colombo. This is the front. This is the back. Oh, here we go. We've got... Oh, is it a gatefold? I guess it is. Sorry, guys. I'm really not with it today. But, yeah, so you got that, and you got Harry there, and I hate Dynapacks. It says bless it. But yeah, so Klaus Vormann's on here, and who else? Of course, Ringo, like I said, he's on a handful of tracks. Doug Dillard from the Dillards, Dr. John, Jim Price, major session guy there too. Yeah, so like I said, I'm trying to get all of his material. I've got I also got Pussycat, which was the album that John Lennon and Nielsen was working on. Excuse me. I'm also told that Harry shredded his vocals, like he shredded his vocal cords, making that album, and he never was the same after. The other little thing, of course, a Beatle connection story. I thought this was fun. And I'm not entirely sure how true it is, but I've heard this from multiple sources. It was right around before they made the Pussycats album in 1974. Harry and John Lennon were in the main New York RCA office. Okay, he was there, and the gentleman had to step out of the room. So for some reason, they rummaged through the dude's desk to discover on one of the tops of the drawer was a termination contract for Harry. So Harry was going to be let go from the label. And they formulated a plan. I mean, John and Harry were like this, you know, through the Lost Weekend years. So they formulated a plan. And when the dude came back, before the dude even could say anything, came up with an idea. They were like, hey, for the next album, John wants to produce it, and John will be on it. And then Lennon spoke up and he goes, hey, by the way, he goes, when my contract with EMI Parlophone and Apple, with the dissolution of Apple in '75, is done, I'll sign with RCA if you let me do this project, and I want to work with Harry. He goes, and not only that, he goes, when I can get Ringo here too, you'll have half the Beatles on RCA. Of course, this was all a ruse, but the RCA president will say, whatever, bought it hook, line, and sinker, went off and opened the damn drawer and said, I was going to terminate your contract, Harry, but guess what? Tears up the fucking termination contract. And Harry signs a new one. Right then and there. And of course, you know, John said, I can't sign any contracts right now, but I will work on this Pussycats album. Which is what happened. But then, of course, nothing else happened, and Harry stayed on RCA for a few more years. Like I said, do it on Monday from 75. This is cool. I'm trying to remember, I think Flash Harry I gotta find, and there's another one. And then I gotta go to Aerial Ballet and go backwards for some of his stuff. I'm told there's a interesting documentary on Harry I would love to see. So, yeah, so these are the albums I picked up. I know, I kind of went all over the place today, guys. And I know this is going to be a very long-winded episode, and for that I apologize. I apologize, but I don't apologize, okay? Because this is how I do things. It comes from the heart.